Welcome to Connected Live and thank you for joining us again in 2022. I'm Elisa Gödde and I will be your host for the coming 6 weeks. We collected many exciting topics and today we'll start with Mower technology. My guest is my colleague Peter Schultze. Good evening and welcome also from my side. We brought interesting topics today. The topic is Easy Cut around the world. Let's start with the agenda. First is what we call the Fresh Matter Express, where we want to introduce you to the F400, one of around 70 models in our Mower portfolio. And we want to explain where do we see trends and how is it best used. And we're going to take a look at the Netherlands for a practical example. The second topic is the introduction of an innovation, the Easy Cut TC Connect, a coupling frame for trailed mowers. And a practical example here is from Australia, and the third and fourth topics are discussing butterfly mower combinations. One is a system comparison we did with topical, and one is the Easy Cut B950 Collect, where we will also see trends around early summer drought conditions and how to best swath the forage in order to preserve moisture. But more on this later. We want you to participate actively, so we prepared something. You have the chance to ask questions via the chat or write us an email to mbk.live@krone.de. And stay tuned to participate in the contest at the end of the show. If you pay attention during the show, you'll be able to answer the question correctly. Peter, from the models we have, we selected a few and first want to talk about the Fresh Matter Express. What's that about? We visited the Netherlands last season to take a look at their Fresh Matter and visited a customer of our F400 CV Fold, a 4-meter mowing with foldable front mower, which was used in combination with our self-loading wagon MX330 GD. You can see it in the picture here. One of the trends is to bring in fresh matter every day, for which the wide front mower offers new opportunities. We'll show you a little video to see how it works, and I comment as it plays. You see how they drive onto the field. The front mower unfolds comfortably, controlled from the cabin, drives directly into the grass, and the material gets brought together in a swath so the loader wagon can immediately pick it up. The key point here is the 4-meter mowing width with 3-meter transport width. You can see how the swath is nice and you don't drive over any of the material. And you can go back on the road here. You can see how 2 mowing discs on each side fold backwards, and then you are ready to go onto the road. Here you can see the unloading directly onto the feeding table. The discharge rollers supply the conveyor belt. You can select to discharge to the left or the right via your control panel. This allows even distribution while driving. A couple of sentences to the trends that we see in fresh matter. In general, what we see in the Netherlands, the south of Germany, but also in Austria, is the trend towards silage-free feeding, which is driven in part by so-called hay milk programs, but also new silage plate investments which are coming up so that farmers start to look for alternatives. And the 4-meter front mower is the perfect model to have a higher throughput in this area of daily fresh matter harvest. We are now standing in front of an F400 CV Fold. What characterizes this mower? One thing is the working width of 4 meters. Then there's the specification CV fold, where CV is our conditioner, which you can see here at the side. The V-shaped steel tines also acts as conveyor and brings the material between the wheels of the tractor. And the fold, which is the key with this model, which is our patented folding mechanism, which we introduced at the Agritechnica in 2019. We are able to swing the ends of the mower bar back without cutting the driveline, all done automatically from the cab via the hydraulic slewing gearbox.
Klappe ich sie nach vorne hier über dieses hydraulische Schwenkgetriebe und habe dann die Möglichkeit, noch breiter zu mähen.
For the Fresh Matter Express, this is operated solo with a loader wagon, but it can also be part of a triple combination, where it allows higher overlap and more accurate mowing in hilly conditions, slopes and turns.
Genauer abzumähen, keine Streifen stehen zu lassen. Deshalb, wie gesagt, Probleme da bekämpfen, wo sie auftauchen, vorne und noch mehr Überschnitt erzeugen. Vielleicht noch mal ganz kurz zu dem Antriebsstrang. Wir gehen oben rein, teilen den dann.
A bit more on the driveline. It's coming in at the top, where it's split to the sides, where the hydraulic slewing gearbox is, so you can easily work it from the cab together with the hydraulic end guards. When the two mowing discs are in front position, we have 4 meter working width. When they are back, we have 3 meter transport width. Everything is hydraulically secured, and the key point is that the driveline is never cut. When you look at the front discs while I turn a back disc, you see that the driveline is always coupled, which is the highlight of the F400 and how we technically implemented it at Krone. You said it was introduced in 2019. How well did the machine enter the market? Very well, actually. Sales are above expectations, with about 80 to 90 machines sold to date, tendency increasing. There's a high demand to increase the overcut in triple combinations. Thank you for your insights and the look into the Netherlands with regards to the Fresh Matter Express. Now let's look further afield to Australia, where we introduce a new product which is tried and tested in Australia. Big thanks to the colleagues in Australia who provided excellent footage. We have here an EasyCut TC Connect. As it says in the name, we want to connect, and that is 2 trailed mowers with this coupling frame. So they can be simultaneously controlled and used in combination with a front mower to reach a working width of over 13 meters. It is approved for 2 trailed disc mowers, such as the TC500, which allows a combination with a 3 or 4 meter front mower to reach higher working widths. Let's take a look at the video to get a feeling for the practical application. Here you see the coupling frame with 2 trailed mowers as it would look and behave on the road. Next on the field, and as mentioned, this is in Australia, in Oaten Hay. You see 2 trailed mowers in the coupling frame, can be controlled synchronically. In this case, they are TC500s, and they also have the CR conditioner, to which I will say more in a minute. Here you can see the turning in the headline, and as you can see, with a small radius, you can drive row to row. Here you can see the synchronous and equal-sized swaths that are made. This is for Oaten Hay, where the whole plant is turned into hay, so you need it to dry off evenly in the swath. You mentioned oaten hay, but also for legumes and other leafy plants we need roller conditioners. What can you tell us about those? Just let me make a step back to point out that with this combination of EasyCut TC Connect with 2 trailed mowers and a front mower, we reach a working width of over 12 meters, so it is controlled traffic compatible. As you mentioned, CR conditioners were used. We have the classic CV conditioners with the steel tines, and for export markets such as Australia, we also have roller conditioners, which are in 2 variants. One is here from polyethylene and the other is an M-roll. The goal is to have a gentle conditioning and not a beating conditioning as with the CV. We want to keep the grains in the oats in lucerne. We want to keep the energy-rich leaves on the stem. So via a squeezing movement, which allows conditioning with minimal losses. And this is what it will look like. Just imagine this to be lucerne or oaten hay. That has passed through the conditioner. Every inch a cringe is what we say. So the plant stem gets squeezed regularly and the moisture can go out, but we are not losing any grains or leaves. And this is what was used in the video. When I saw the first picture of the EasyCut TC Connect, I asked myself, why not use a big M or a normal triple combination instead? Can you explain this and what is meant by controlled traffic farming? We are trying to get a working width above 12 meters. This is also in other areas such as combine harvesting and tillage, and we are also aiming for this with EasyCut. Why do we do this? We want to have a predefined traffic lane which is in a grid of 3, 6 or 12 meters. Thus you can reduce soil compaction and have high process reliability and efficiency, especially on large fields. Why don't we do this in Europe? The limiting factor here is the transport width. So the EasyCut TC Connect can only be used where transport width plays only a minor role. That's why we start with this product in Australia and the USA. But we know this topic also in Europe, for example, Sweden and Denmark. Yes, this is just our first step in that direction. We are on the topic and we see the trend, and this is why we want to deliver technical solutions with the EasyCut TC Connect. Okay, let's move back and get to the topic where we focus on Germany. Last year we had the pleasure to work with topical again to do a system comparison. The big question here, which will also be of interest to many contractors and farmers alike, was mowing with or without conditioners. What can you tell us about the system comparison? We did the test during the first cut in early May and compared 10 meters working width with and without conditioners. You can see it here in the model. On the one hand, we want to purely mow with the mower, let the material lie and dry. In this test, we also tethered it once or twice to then evaluate how well does it work, what's the resulting forage quality, how much horsepower is needed. On the other hand, we wanted to mow with the conditioners, as you can see here, to maximize the difference between the two systems. We set the conditioner to maximum intensity, 900 rounds per minute, and close position of the baffle plate, which minimizes the distance between tines and the plate to compare the two systems. Let's take a look at the video to see what we did first before going into detail about the machines. Let's take a look. Here you see the drone footage of the triple combinations with and without conditioner. The colleague Guido Höhler from Topical, who did the comparison with us. Here a quick look at the conditioner. As I explained, 600 or 900 rounds per minute are possible. We selected the tractors accordingly. We split the field into trial plots. Here you see mowing without the conditioner, where we were working with the same width of 10 meters for better comparison. And as you can see, we had perfect weather conditions, wind and sun. On some of the plots, we used the tedder, tedding once or twice or not at all, as is done in practice, with or without the conditioner. We then calculated the averages across these plots to compare the two systems to be able to say how big of a difference the conditioner makes. How big of a tractor do you need for this? We measured torque while mowing to see how much power is actually needed. It was an interesting and exhausting day until 10 p.m. out in the field, taking samples every 2 hours for dry matter content. And we measured 3 main things. First, the power in kilowatt and horsepower. Second, the crude ash content, and third, the dry matter content, but more on that later. Do you want to explain which machines were used? Yes, as I said, 10-meter working width with triple combinations, Easy Cut B1000 without conditioner, where you can hydraulically adjust the width or overcut. This machine is relatively new on the market with hydraulic suspension and nice design features. The comparison was a machine that's been on the market for a while, B1000 CV Collect. We combined these with pushed front mowers of the same working width. What can you say about the required power? The difference is slightly above 80 horsepower, which you can see reflected on the picture. We worked with a Fendt 516 with around 160 horsepower and a 724. We need about 80 to 83 horsepower more with the conditioner. If you break this down per meter working width, it's about 8 to 8.5 horsepower per meter with the conditioner. I should add that we worked with the highest intensity of the conditioner. What about feed quality, crude ash and dry matter content? With crude ash, we could not find any significant differences. It was always in the range of 6 to 7%, which is very low, as the machines were well adjusted and we mowed quite high at 8 centimeters, so we were happy with the result, but we couldn't find significant differences. If you look at the results for dry matter, you see the average results of using the tedder once, twice, or not at all. On the x-axis are the different samples over time, and on the y-axis the dry matter content. The blue line at the bottom is the null test without conditioner and no tedding at all to compare to the other variants. The green line is without conditioner but with tedding, once, twice or not at all as an average. And the orange line with conditioner and tedding, again, once, twice, or not at all as an average, which shows the steepest and or fastest drying curve. We see how the conditioner needs extra power, but at the same time allows the material to dry much faster. In our test, also the version without conditioner and with tedding reached the goal of a 24-hour silage, as the goal is to limit the time where the material lies on the field. At 9 p.m. with the final sampling, we reached here the target dry matter content of 35% as well. Thank you for your insights. You can find the test results on our homepage or watch the full video on our YouTube channel, where the results are explained in full detail. Is there anything else to add from your side? Yes, maybe about the tedder. As mentioned, there was no significant difference in crude ash content. However, especially when we mowed without conditioner, the use of the tedder significantly increased the speed of drying off, partly over 2 hours quicker. So the use of a tedder really helps, especially when mowing without a conditioner. We now discussed how to increase the speed of drying. Now we will discuss a machine where we want to decrease the speed of drying off. EasyCut B950 Collect. What does the collect stand for? As the name says, we want to collect. We want to collect the swath. Why is that? As you could see in the previous chart, when we work with conditioner and tedders in really good conditions, our silage can even become too dry. But when I'm using a machine like B950 Collect to bring the material into a swath immediately, I can preserve some of that moisture like that. This is a trend we see as we have increasing drought levels in early summer and throughout summer during the third and fourth cuts, which increases the risk of having too dry silage. And this problem is solved by the B950. Which other advantages do you see? You have maximum flexibility with this machine. You can control the merger augers separately, so you can collect into a swath or spread the material as you can do with any other triple combination. And you can do a combination of the two. This can be useful, for example, when you work on the field edge. You can pull that material from the edge into a swath, and you no longer have to work with your tedders and rakes on the field edge. Or you can work in a system where you always put one side into a swath. So you can then use a 4-rotor rake such as TC1250 or TC1370, where you can put a 20-meter working width into a swath with a 4-rotor rake. This in turn can make most efficient use of a loader wagon or forage harvester. To conclude, for whom is that the right machine? Well, you have maximum flexibility with the machine. We have really good experience on compaction-prone and unstable soils, for example on slopes and peaty soils. The machine is very light when compared to the other machines tonight, with conditioner, especially when combined with a belt for the swath, which are heavier. We also attach closer to the tractor, so the weight distribution is different. And another aspect that we haven't discussed so far is the harvest of biomass for anaerobic digesters, such as green rye or lucerne, which can directly be put into a swath. Those are key working areas for this machine. To conclude, we have maximum flexibility with this machine. Thank you, Peter. We can see that the portfolio of our machines holds a great variety, and we could only discuss a selection of this tonight. Yes, tonight we only saw a small selection, from front mower to trailed mower to triple combinations, and including the big M, we have around 70 different models in the mowing section. In total, as the forage harvest specialist Krone, we have around 270 to 280 models in the areas of grass, maize and straw. Well, that's already the closing of Easy Cut Around the World. I'm glad you could join. As mentioned at the start, we now get to our competition. Just scan this QR code with your mobile, answer the question correctly, and have the chance to win this excellent light but warm jacket and the hat, which make for a perfect winter package. I hope to see you again next week, where we have another exciting topic. As guests, I will have my colleagues Daniel Büter and Stefan Niehoff, who will discuss the near control dual sensor. This is about near-infrared technology, which we will highlight in our Big X, and also with our external guest Christian Krachtrup from Zunhammer, who will explain the dual use of the near sensor in the slurry tanker. I hope to see you again next week. Have a nice evening.